0602, Proportions, Part 1. I want to do a little bit of a review. This should be more from your 5th and 6th grade class than this year. But we want to solve each equation. So would you take a moment and try to solve these two and see if you can do it? Okay, so how I like to show it is they're multiplying by 4. A number next to a variable is called the coefficient, and so the coefficient 4 is multiplying k. So we have 4 times k equals 52. So what number multiplied by 4 equals 52? Easiest way to solve that is, since they're multiplying by 4, we do the opposite. We divide both sides by 4. This is called keeping your equation balanced. You'll need to do this for today, so make sure that you're paying attention. A 4 over 4 gives you a big fat 1, and 52 divided by 4 gives you 13. So k is equal to 13. In other words, 4 times 13 equals 52. So if you weren't able to do those, try number 2 and see if you can get the answer on your own this time. Alright, so they're multiplying by 6. So the coefficient is 6. The variable is b, so 6 times b equals 54. What number times 6 is equal to 54? Now you might be able to do that in your head, that's great, but you are going to need to show your work today, so please make sure to show your work. So since they're multiplying by 6, we divide both sides by 6. 6 over 6 gives us a big fat 1, and 54 divided by 6 gives us 9. So b equals 9. In other words, 6 times 9 equals 54. Would you pause the video and try these two problems and see if you can come up with an answer on your own? Okay, so the coefficient for number 3 is 8, and it's being multiplied by I. So we divide both sides by 8 since they're multiplying by 8. 8 over 8 is a big fat 1. 64 divided by 8 is going to equal 8. So I equals 8 in this case. Number 4, we have 3y equals 36. Our coefficient is 3. That means 3 times a number is equal to 36. Since they're timesing by 3, we do the opposite. We divide both sides by 3. 3 over 3 is a big fat 1. And we get y is equal to 12. Now, proportions are similar to analogies. So a racket is to tennis as blank is to baseball. So what would you think would be our appropriate term to put for X? In this case, hopefully you're saying a bat. It takes a racket to hit the ball in tennis. It takes a bat to hit the ball, is how I think of it. So walk is to run as blank is to, or talk is to blank. Now some different people come up with different answers here, so what do you think might be a possibility? Some people might say whisper. I've heard shout. I've heard scream. I've heard all kinds of different things. But one possibility, I think, one of the better possibilities is shout. So, to me it takes more energy to run than to walk, so shouting takes more energy. You might have something different, but I think it should follow along those lines. Milk is to ice cream as blank bread is to X. I like this one because this one a lot of people mess up. So I want you to think, what is the relationship of milk to ice cream, and then bread is to what? Okay, so a lot of people like to say yeast or dough or that type of thing. But what is the relationship of milk to ice cream? It takes milk to make ice cream. So what does it take for bread? What is bread an ingredient of? Not flour. You might think something like a sandwich. I've heard people say French toast, something along those lines, where it is a part of it. So our objective today is to use proportions to solve problems. So a proportion is a statement of equality between two ratios. So examples could be 3 over 4 is equal to 9 over 12. That's a proportion. If you cross multiply, you'll get the same number. 3 times 12 is 36. 4 times 9 is 36. So those are equal. Same with 5/6 and 25/30. If we were to cross multiply, for each of those, we'd get 150. X over y is equal to 11x over 11y. If we were to cross multiply, we'd get 11xy is equal to 11xy. Excuse me. Couldn't contain that one. And same for 7/9 and 7x over 9x. So they are equal to each other. If they're equal, that helps us solve these. So let's practice by telling whether each pair of ratios forms a proportion. So you cross multiply. 3 times 12, 4 times 9. That equals 36. 4 times 9 equals 36. So yes, they form a proportion. If they're not equal, we say no. So would you cross multiply here and decide do they form a proportion or not? Pause the video, make your decision. So we have 13 times 5. Is that equal to 15 times 4? Well, if we cross multiply, we get 65 and 60. Those are not equal, so this does not form a proportion. Would you try number 3, please? So cross multiply, and 25 times 8 is 200, and 40 times 5 is 200. So yes, they do. So A over B equals C over D. Then if we cross multiply, AD is equal to BC. So if I cross multiply here, I get 3 times x is 3x. 5 times 12 is 60. I can solve that like we did earlier. Divide both of those by the number in front of the variable, the coefficient, and we get x is equal to 20. Which should kind of make sense for those of you that know about equivalent fractions. So for number 5, cross multiply, then divide. So we do 4 times x, 6 times 6, multiply by the number in front of the variable, the coefficient. So we divide by 4, and we get x is equal to 9. Now they're not always going to be this easy, and you do need to show your work, so please make sure that you do so. Would you try these two, please? A little bit tougher. Pause the video and try them out. Okay, so cross multiply. If I do my cross multiplying, I'll get 5n is equal to 40. I like to have my variable in front, so that's why I did that. Divide by the number next to the variable, by the coefficient. So we're going to divide both sides by 5. 5 over 5 is a big fat 1, and we get n is equal to 8. So cross multiply on number 7. M times 14 is 14m. 4 times 7 is 28. Divide by the number next to the variable, and we get m is equal to 2. Last two that we're going to do today. So would you please pause the video, try these two. Remember, cross multiply, then divide. Alright, so if we cross multiply, we'll get 15a and 300. Divide both of those by the number next to the variable, which is 15. So anything over itself is a big fat 1. And we get a is equal to 20. For number 9, cross multiply. 3b is equal to 84. Divide both sides by 3. And we get b is equal to 28. That's all we're going to do today. We'll finish the back side of the guided notes tomorrow night. So please be ready. And if you have any questions, post them on on the Edmodo on this link so that we know what we need to work on for tomorrow. Thank you very much. Goodbye.